Mike King News Radio. George is here with this Craig Swim Across America. So George, you had found an organization, you thought it was great. You're just
Yes.
like, man, these guys are it. Everything is cool. I love rolling with them.
Exactly.
And then it becomes personal.
Exactly.
And then it takes another level because you look at it different now. Before
Sure.
you were the person helping out. Talk about what it was like when you got to that moment where like, okay, this went from being a cool organization to support to wow, these people, and you're saying from the top down, a call is put in, and before you know it, the system and process starts to take place.
Exactly. Yeah, it was great. You know, just it was so quickly that they were able to get back to me. I don't know if I would have had that level of access without Swim Across America. You know, the speed at which, like I said, that morning of the 17th, a friend of mine says, hey, let me contact the CEO of Swim Across America. At noon, he calls me back. At 6 o'clock, he says, Massey is in. The following day, Massey is scheduling these appointments for me. So it did get personal. I always thought I was going to be involved in Swim Across America and just to be helping somebody else, somebody less fortunate than me. I've had some friends that have been affected by cancer, and I've always named them in my in my bio and my Swim Across America page that we do. Never thought it would be involving me, but yeah, it did get personal, and it's great to just have that support. And I've been going around to local other masters swimming groups and doing some campaigns and, trying to bring awareness to everything. And when I was down at Swim RVA for one of these masters groups, somebody who works for VCU approached me and basically validated everything that everybody's been saying about Swim Across America. She says, I work for VCU. We don't get the funding for these research projects until we get something like a grant from Swim Across America, until we can prove that we're getting some results. So they get the money for the grant for the research to kick it off. They start getting results, and then they start getting additional funding from National Cancer Institute, National Institute of Health. I think Swim Across America has some statistics out there that say that it's usually like a 4 or 5 times return on that investment when Swim Across America gives the original grant to the researcher, as you compare it to what they get after they start showing these results and they get the additional funding.
So yeah. Craig, George's story, you've heard this before. You've heard this magic before.
Yes, and it's you know what? It's powerful. I mean, we all just, you'll hear this said often at all of our events, and you'll hear it at our Richmond Swimming, like, we are family, right? And when we come together, I mean, there are passionate people there who want to make a difference. And what's really neat about our events is, the doctors will come to our events. Some of them swim, some of them, kayak, or they volunteer. They'll speak and they'll tell you how important, what the funding is to them. Like George mentioned, we tend to fund young investigators who have brilliant research, but again, the NIH isn't going to fund them unless they have real data. And that's the catch-22 they find themselves as. Well, how do I get data if I don't have funding? So we kind of, in a way, look at ourselves as angel investors. We work closely with the directors of oncology of the hospital. It's directed to the right people. And then, as George mentioned, yes, it's about a 5-to-1 ratio where, we'll fund research, a particular doctor's research. They'll take that data, they'll go back and they can leverage it, and it'll turn into a much larger grant. So the money coming in doesn't stop after our event. It keeps growing. And it will continue to fund cancer research. And then that can help launch them on their career to do bigger and better things. So, but the coolest part is, you can come to an event and actually sit and talk to the doctors right there and ask them questions and find out what are we doing here? And like, where is this funding going? And, how can I help? And that's the, the most important part is we want to make a difference in the community and bigger picture.
All right, gents, on the mic, Mike. Craig is here. George is here. We're talking about Swim Across America. Let's talk about the event. When is it? Let's get the particulars on it.
George, I mean.
All
you're the
right, so
leader.
it's going to be August 26th at the Quest Pool down the Midlothian area. I think Craig mentioned before, we've done some open water swims. We're moving it to a pool this year. Some people prefer the open water, but I think with the pool swim, it's logistics are easier. You know, you don't have a start point that's a mile away from the end point. How do you spectate on something like that? So everybody's going to be in the same place. We're going to have options for people that want to swim a half a mile, some people that want to swim a mile, or some that just want to swim as far as they can. We'll probably get some competitive people in there that'll try to pound out as many yards as they can in that time frame. But you also have, you know, just the beginners that want to be involved. We're going to have some relays for kids. We're going to have a DJ. We're going to have food. We're going to have some giveaways, things like that. So it's going to be a really fun event, and hopefully we can get some of those last minute donations, you know, while we're on site for doing the event on August 26th.
So George, really quickly, what we